to see, not just your own community, but further out, reach out, see parts of the world and country, and stop in those small towns. That's the one thing that I'm not a big fan of traveling by car anymore, because now the highways bypass everything, and you don't get to go through the heart of communities, stop off and stuff, local stuff. And so I think we get off the beaten path, or take a detour and just take time.
You might find a surprise.
Yeah, especially around here. I mean, you look at Shamrock. You go through Shamrock, it's a whole different world. I mean, it's a neat place to stop by. And if you're not going there, sometimes you're not going to get there. So
right,
if you're not just making a trip to Shamrock,
you got to be intentional.
You got to be intentional. So I think that's just a great opportunity. You can travel across the high plains. So we'll try them one more time, Jared. We'll see if they're ready again. If not, then we'll move on. We'll call it a day with that. But that's the beauty of
technology.
Electronics.
Yeah, got to fire whatever they're doing.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, it's a fire back there. Yeah, it's a fire. Okay, well,
there's no fire ban there.
There we go. Maybe that's it. So yeah, now they're trying to call me.
You know, David, you were just speaking of places to go. You have no idea how many vacation places are just up here in, as you all call it, the upper 26. You have no idea of how many places around here. Like, do you know what the town square of White Deer is?
Town square.
The town square. It's a white deer. It's a statue of a white deer. Honest to God.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
And they tell me there's some history behind it. I never stopped and looked at the monument itself.
I'm not for sure. Yeah, I'm not for sure.
White Deer's one of those places I go through to see my parents, and I always think, oh, you've just got to stop someday, you know, and check it out. Yeah. And some of those little antique, those kind of shops are closing. And
one of my favorite places, Panther Pizza in Panhandle, Texas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's just off the beat path. Some people I know, my neighbor, she likes to go to Pampa. Her and her husband like to go to Pampa to the Coney Island over there. That's a little side trip pick off. Yeah. So this is, we look at Borger. There's these little interesting things to do in Borger and Dumas to get off the beaten path. I know we think we get narrow-minded, Dallas or New Mexico, Albuquerque, something like that. But if you get off the beaten path, there's some real treasures and gems. Fritch is a fun place.
Right.
Nice folks.
Yeah.
So Fritch, Texas, and but you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how friendly people are and welcome they are. But you'll find something neat, something different to do. Just not always the same old thing. So the little surrounding communities always have some great interest for me. So I don't mind going, hanging out there. So we're hopefully here. We can get the folks in with this travel. Jared, can we try them one more time? We'll see if they've stoked the fire. And we'll talk with them. Nope. Not going to do it. So there you go. There we go. Hey, Gabe.
Oh, okay.
All right, can we hear? There we go. Gabe.
Excuse me.
All right.
I might not need.
Tell them, Jared. We got, they don't hear us yet, I don't think. There we go. Oh, well. So they missed it. Bad opportunity. So we'll get into that. Yeah. Well, in the next hour. Yeah, we're ready to go. Morning. Yeah. So we're on air. We're ready to go. Jared, one more time. We got about 3 minutes. Let's see if we can get them on. Probably ran over. There he is. There's Gabe. Hey, Gabe. If he hears us. Good morning, Gabe.
He's got to
Stand by. Give me 1 second here.
All right, no problem.
Hello.
Hey, Gabe, how you doing this morning?
All right. It's a beautiful morning.
Let me ask you this. Where are you from? Where are you at right now?
We are in Indian Wells in the Southern California desert.
Oh, tell us, let's dig in. Let's talk about wellness traveling. It's after the pandemic, people change on how they traveled and what they want to do on those trips, what they got out of it. Tell us a little bit about wellness travel as a trend.
Yeah, listen, I think it's certainly been a trend for a long time, but it's a trend that's exploded post-COVID, where as we travel, as we sort of start to expand our horizons, wellness and self-care is certainly something that we... So go ahead, Eric.
Oh, go ahead.
The wellness travel industry globally is now growing to be a $1.5 trillion industry, and that's actually been driven largely by consumer demand. 94% of Americans saying that when they travel in 2024, self-care, wellness will definitely be a part of that. 25% of Americans saying that mental wellness will be part of their travel plans as well. And the number one experience that they're seeking when they travel is a good night's sleep. So I think certainly there's always been a part of the travel experience, but as we continue to exit the pandemic, it's certainly garnered extra attention from travelers from coast to coast.
So sleep is important to the travelers. What else do you address as far as when you talk about a wellness experience?
Well, a lot of it is actually part and parcel to the experience right here where I am in Indian Wells, which is part of Greater Palm Springs, a community of 9 different cities here in the Southern California desert, which includes Palm Springs and Rancho Mirage and Coachella, and of course beautiful Indian Wells here, which is home to some of the greatest golf and tennis in the country. Also home to the place where I am this morning, which is the Tommy Bahama Miramonte Resort and Spa. This is the first Tommy Bahama hotel in the world that opened up just a couple of weeks ago. So a little bit of breaking news there, but this is a beautiful 11-acre property, some sort of a sexy beachy vibe, some great dining on site, a great spa, and of course surrounded by a beautiful desert landscape. But what's happening here at this resort in Indian Wells and in Greater Palm Springs in general is this wellness drive driven by a couple of things. Number one, certainly the spa experience. You know, the spa reality as part of a wellness experience has always been part and parcel to the experience here. You know, Hollywood was coming out here in the 1930s, seeking some of that vitamin D, some of those mineral springs, right? These days, that spa experience has been elevated even more. For example, here at the Tommy Bahama Miramonte, they've got the Spa Rosa, where they will take citrus that grows on property, they'll incorporate it into oils that they use in their massages and facials, and they've got some very unique experiences from aerial yoga to sound bathing to a variety of different movement classes. There's a brand new spa at Saglie, which is part of the Agua Caliente Cultural Plaza, which opened up just a couple of weeks ago. They're tapping waters that are 8,000 feet below the Earth's surface. And now folks are actually using these waters in these mineral baths and these zero sensory floats. They've got quartz beds where you can lay there and kind of work on that lymphatic system. They've got salt caves that help get rid of some of those impurities. So it's that quintessential sort of Southern California wellness experience, but really these days elevated to a whole new level.
Gabe, go over the food side of this for us. What about the
Yeah, well, listen, here in this Greater Palm Springs area, the eating has always been fantastic, but certainly the attention now is in that farm-to-table experience. The weather here, the topography allows for a variety and a plethora of things to grow. Citrus, olive trees, you've got a variety of herbs that grow here, and they're making their way now in earnest into some of the great dining destinations here throughout Greater Palm Springs, and also into the cocktail and the mocktail scene. You know, the mocktail scene, this idea that you're crafting these beautiful cocktails with these beautiful local flavors, but without that alcohol is still certainly becoming part of that wellness idea. So you're still sharing something that looks really good, tastes really good, but without that alcohol, again, that's part of that wellness experience as we head toward into dry January. I think we'll be hearing about that much more. But yeah, that's part of that culinary reality that's always been part of the Greater Palm Springs experience. But now, that, again, as new chefs, as new talent comes into this area, that's been elevated even more.
All right, the spa experience, traveling for your wellness, something we all need to look at, especially coming out of the pandemic. Gabe has this live, beautiful desert oasis in Palm Springs. If you want more information, check out travelzoo.com to book your great deal on a wellness trip soon. Gabe, thank you so much. Great job, sir.
You got it. Thanks very much.
All right, we'll take a break. Back with more chat right after this.